you're going to want to watch today's episode because we're cranking up the temp.
Yeah, we're doing one of my favorite movies. Maybe it's Austin's, I don't know. But we're doing Heat today. I know it's like, 20 years old or something, but it is still great to talk about even today.
It's a heist classic, so let's just dive right into it, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
So for those of you that haven't seen it, we're going to sum it up for you right now.
A master thief named Neil McCauley, played by Robert De Niro, leads a crew of skilled criminals in a series of daring heists. Meanwhile, Al Pacino is an LA detective named Vincent Hanna who has become obsessed with catching Neil's crew. As McCauley plans his final heist, Hanna relentlessly closes in on him. The two engage in a thrilling game of cat and mouse that culminates into a dramatic and explosive bank robbery in downtown LA, as each one of them has vowed never to stop until one of them is dead.
So he is your favorite movie?
Not my favorite. It is definitely one of my favorites, though.
I thought it was your favorite.
No, Goonies and Shawshank are my two favorites. I'll put it to you this way. I was going to skim through it last night.
Yeah.
And I just watched the whole thing.
I mean, it's been so long since I've seen the movie that I was going to kind of do the same thing. But when I started watching it again, I was like, I don't remember any of this. I mean, I remember all the action sequences, all the shootouts and stuff, but I didn't realize that there was such a huge, I kind of call it like a romance section of the movie, but it's really just diving into the relationships between Al Pacino's character, him and his wife, like he's a sergeant and stuff. And then you got Robert De Niro that is resistant to relationships because he's like, if you can't leave it in the drop of a hat, then you don't want it because of his career.
I'm going to say you're on the right track because not a lot of people know this. Fun fact. It was actually a Hallmark movie.
Man, this is an intense Hallmark movie.
I know. Normally it's a Christmas tree farm. Here it's a bank robbery.
Yeah, and you got shootouts in the middle of the street. You got overzealous cops just trying to get the case solved, but also kind of being criminal in a way.
It's got the Hallmark spin. You can really feel it in there in the storyline.
But is that real? Like it was actually supposed to be like. Oh,
no,
okay.
No.
Dang, you had me going for it. you pulled me in. I was like, wow.
Well, okay. On that note, let's do our two truths and one lie, and we'll see if you know the lie. So we've started doing this. For those of you who have seen our shorts, our two truths and one lie about a movie, we're going to tell you the lie at the end of the episode. So, okay. Number one, Danny Trejo was actually a real criminal before becoming an actor. Number two, the famous downtown gunfight used real blanks instead of adding the sound effects in afterwards. Number three, in the famous diner scene, they used CGI with voiceover by Robert De Niro later because he was sick the day of the shooting. So which one's the lie? Come back at the end of the episode after the credits and we'll tell you.
I can eliminate one of them on the spot just because it was a fact that I looked up, but I won't spoil it.
We'll give you a hint. We're going to talk about one of these facts later on. So we'll rule out one of them for you in the middle of the episode.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be two of them. And if you were paying close enough attention, you'll have the answer.
Yeah. We'll see. So I just want to say first off, watching this movie again last night, I just kind of thought, it's for as intense as the bank robbery scene is and all of that action going on afterwards. It starts off so beautiful and peaceful, at night with the steam coming up around the train that's coming in and it just builds up slowly. And then you kind of get that first little heist, 5-10 minutes in or something like that. But
I think that sets it up for that first little heist thing with the armored truck. They have it all set up. You see him driving around. You got the new guy coming into the thing and they're like a little bit on edge with him. What's your name? And okay, I still don't quite trust you.
Yeah.
But get in the truck and let's go.
You're a new guy, but get in. It's kind of like in Dumb and Dumber where they're like, we don't usually pick up hitchhikers, but we got a good feeling about this. Get in.
Right? Yeah, you think they would have like met up at some point before then, but maybe they had to do a quick swap over. I don't know. Did they explain that at all?
No.
It doesn't matter though, because armored truck comes in and then boom, just knocks it over. And what a cool scene, man. Like to kick off everything. Going from, like you just said, like that calm kind of setup to just super raw, like intense
when they
action.
pull those masks down, it's like, watch out.
Yeah.
It's about to get real.
And what did they end up getting out of that?
There's like a couple different heists throughout this big main plot of this bank robbery heist. And the first heist was they took these bearer bonds from some big business guy. They didn't realize it was his. They took them. They found out it was his. And they're like, well, you know what? He's insured for these things. Let's sell it back to him at 60 cents on the dollar. He'll get the insurance money at 100%, and then he'll make 40% on top of buying these back from us.
Yeah.
So they called him up, and he was like, yeah, cool, I'll do it. But then he's like, you know what? Forget these guys. I'm going to have them killed. Okay. Forget this guy. We're going to come back and kill him. So it's this whole, like all heist movies. Who can you trust? Who's going to double cross you?
Armored truck drivers are cops, right? Or are they?
No. So armored truck drivers are not cops. And they are way underpaid. It's one of the most stressful jobs ever. If you don't hit your mark time-wise, like you can get fired like that.
Man, so they're just armed security.
Yeah, they get paid like nothing.
Man, I'm going on a tangent here really quick. But did you see that armored truck vehicle, like the real one where the dude's like getting
inside
shot at? Yeah. And the one dude's got his gun out and like he's just going, it's just boom. He's like reverse boom. Like, dude, that was so intense, but like he handled it so well.
All right, okay, now we're gonna have to put ourselves in an armored truck. All right, okay, I'm driving. I'm smashing into the other car that's shooting us. Yeah, okay.
But then that leads into the one dude that he's the new guy that nobody really knows. He's holding up the dude and then just takes one out. And he's like, oh, he moved on me, but he didn't move at all. This dude's just murdering people. And so it forced everybody else to just kill the rest of them. And none of them really wanted it to happen. They were just kind of forced into that situation because of the new guy. And the new guy is actually Buffalo Bill.
I'm going to lower down the basket.
This is Buffalo Bill Untucked Edition.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Oh, man. Fun fact. Now that you got that going on, there were 158 F-bombs dropped in this movie.
Oh, really? I did not. I guess I'm so used to it. It didn't even faze me.
Yeah. This movie is just stacked with actors like crazy. You got, like we just mentioned, we got Buffalo Bill. You got the Allstate guy. And you got the guy from Judgment Night.
See, okay, you think Allstate guy, but I think the voodoo guy from Major League. Yeah, that's where I was seeing him.
No, but all of them are actually really great actors. I just thought it was funny.
And I guess you've got De Niro and Pacino.
Yeah, I guess. But go ahead and bring us back.
Okay, what is your favorite scene from the movie? We are going to bypass the main robbery because obviously that's everybody's favorite scene. What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was you had Val Kilmer like breaking a safe, I think. He's doing all that there in the little shipyard, I think is what they were in. But Neil doesn't feel like something's right. And he's looking straight into this heat camera. And it's, I think, the first time you see Al Pacino and Robert De Niro face to face, even though they're not really face to face.
Yeah. Yeah, that stare, like when they're just kind of looking at each other, even though it's through a heat camera monitor, it's just like you can just.
It was kind of tense.
Tension, yeah, you can feel it. My favorite scene, besides that, and the second favorite scene that people always pick is the diner scene, but mine is actually right after that. It's where he comes back from them having a little romantic coffee date and talking about why they're never going to give up chasing each other. They're never going to give up hunting and, all that stuff, hunting each other. When they get back to the police department, and they're like, they lost all the surveillance people lost them. Like, they're gone. They vanished. And he's like, what do you mean? I just had coffee with them. He's like, yeah, they ghosted us. Like, they went to the airport. Like, they dropped all our trackers. They that's when you realize that the lieutenant's like, oh, they're one step ahead of us. Like, they are better than we think. And you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, they're going to get away with this.
I got a fun fact. Robert De Niro, in that whole scene where they're talking at the diner, like face to face, they didn't rehearse it because he wanted to have it like legit feel like they didn't know each other, because I don't think Al Pacino and Robert De Niro actually met before that scene, or had worked together until that moment. And so he wanted it to be authentic.
That is such an iconic scene. You're just looking over the shoulder. You never really see a side by side. It's just like, boom, here's my point of view. Here's my point of view. Like, here's why I'm never going to stop hunting you. And here's why I'm never going to stop giving up robbing banks. Like, who's going to win at the end? Okay, well, so speaking of that, though, of the two, who was your favorite actor, and also who are you rooting for in this one?
I feel like I enjoyed Al Pacino's acting in this just because it's so much more dynamic.
So who are you rooting for then in the movie?
I think I end up rooting for Robert De Niro in the end, because you kind of want their whole crew to just get away with it all.
I would say that I prefer De Niro's character, because it's just so cold and methodical and just like a machine. He's like, nope. He comes in, I'm walking away. Girls give me problems, tripping me up, I'm walking away. Like, the job is all I need to do and focus on. That's my life. And even though I'm not anti-cop, I'm always going to root for the bank robber. Like, always.
It's the fun part.
I don't know why we do that, but man, you want that bank robber to get away.
I think we want it to happen because it's something that shouldn't happen. And, in real life, you're going to root for the cops to stop all the tragedy. So it's kind of fun to know it's made up and just want to see the bad guy succeed into it. Cause that's the exciting part of the movie is the bank robbery. It's not necessarily all the cops scoping out and looking for people. That's what keeps the bank robbery going, is that tension from the cops. And you're just like, oh man, I hope they just barely make it by,
Speaking of the big bank robbery heist, a fun fact is that all of the actors, they actually went into banks and would scope them out, would pretend like they're taking out loans. They were in disguise. They would actually go in and case the joint and see how they're going to pull off this bank robbery. And then afterwards, the production team went in, pulled all the tapes from the bank, and there's you could not identify them. They were hidden, and they did all this stuff so that when they actually pulled it off, on the day of filming, it felt real to them.
Yeah, you think it would be a little obvious. You got Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer just walking into your bank, and
like I said, they were in disguise.
Got their glasses on.
Yeah, they pulled the old Superman, just put some glasses on. Right. Who is that? Is that De Niro?
Nope.
That's Clark Kent.
But can we finally get into the bank robbery or what?
Yeah. So all right. So let's talk the bank robbery.
We have to.
I know we've been tiptoeing around it for too long. Let's get into the good stuff.
Yeah, man, the whole setup of that whole thing, a few little flaws or things that I thought were weird is it's all exciting. They're all in the bank, they had the place all cased out. They're all in their different positions. You got Robert De Niro pulling his mask down in the bank for some reason, and Tom Sizemore pulling down. And then you got Val Kilmer just going, just taking out people with no mask on. I was like, what? Why doesn't he have his mask on right now?
Well, the other guys, they like a little bit of mystery. They're
don't mind those. We cased the place. There's a camera there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, why'd they pull the mask down while they were in there? But based on the other scenes, I guess they probably had the camera situation all done already.
Plus, I mean, once someone pulls some guns out and stuff, that's when you're going to notice someone's face. You're not going to pay attention to some random stranger walking in behind you, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's when it counts. Plus, you'll be seen. You'll be spotted if you walk in with masks on.
Yeah. That whole scene's cool, though. Like, walking across the tables and stuff.
Yeah.
Saying, don't do anything stupid, basically. Like, your money's protected by, like...
the FDIC. Yeah.
So just listen to us. We're just taking the bank's money.
Yeah. Which technically kind of is your money in the end because you're paying taxes.
But he was basically saying it's insured and you can get it, whatever. It's a smaller amount or hopefully a smaller amount.
And then when they come out, you know, they've got the bags on, they think they're going to get away with it. And then they start walking in, they're getting into the car, and then boom, there's the cops, you know, coming in on them. And,
they're all armed up and ready to go. Like,
and Chris just like, he doesn't even waste time. He's just like, pow, 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 pow.
Yeah. I was watching that. It's like, did he really need to start firing? Because technically, like, the cops shouldn't shoot right away. They should just try to contain the area. And like, they could have been just propping up, and he's just like, fuck it. Bah, 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 bah. I was like, did he really need to? Could he have just hopped into the car and they just took off really quick, and then they would all had to kind of catch up?
I mean, they could have, but then you wouldn't have had the best gunfight scene in all of history.
Yeah, man. Like, it just, from that moment, it took off hard.
Yeah. They used real live blanks. So, fun fact. The producer or director, I mean, when they first came in and we're looking at some of the takes from the day, you know, the audio people had, you know, they're used to like, we take all the audio out and then we put in new audio. You know that. Yep. So the director was like, no, these aren't the gunshots. That's not it. He's like, what? I mean, what do you mean? He's like, no, that's not what it sounded like, because you've got all those skyscrapers and it's echoing and it's just like building this massive sound with every gunshot. It just hangs in the air. They said you could hear when they stopped shooting, you could hear the gunshots for like 8 seconds still afterwards.
Oh, wow.
And they would do like 800 to 1,000 rounds per take. So I can't imagine how many 911 calls the police department got from bystanders. There's a bank robbery.
Yeah, they said that they put like microphones around so that it could actually capture what's happening there. Plus, it like gave the realism effect for the actors themselves to like, you know, feel and hear everything instead of just pretending. And I text you like in the middle of watching. I was like, man, this is like the best like shootout scene probably in movie history. And I know people could probably say, well, like John Wick had a lot of cool ones, but actually no, this one, I would say you could take that whole John Wick movie, while it's really cool, this one scene alone just captures like so much intensity.
I don't think this movie could be made, or that scene could be made again today, because with all the active shooters that are happening in today's world, like you would set off sheer panic if you filmed that in LA today.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but like you could not recreate that realism.
And another thing, man, these cops are just like super aggressive.
Yeah, they don't care at all.
People are running around. There's pop, 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 just firing just as much, and nobody has to change a clip.
No, you see Val Kilmer do it, and actually, Val Kilmer said he got a major props from a Marine sergeant or whatever, who would show that clip to the new recruits and be like, if you can't change a clip as fast as he does, this actor does, get out of here.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't see too many clip changes happening or magazine changes, whatever you call it.
Okay, so I had another thought though. Why is the homicide detective working bank robberies? Like, I know they're kind of connected, but like, I'm not a cop, but I'm pretty sure that they're separate departments, and you can't just like go in and be like, oh, I'm going to start working these bank robberies. Like,
yeah, but I mean, they do have the scene where he goes to Las Vegas and he's like, like shaking the one dude around. He's like, "This isn't even your jurisdiction. You're from L.A." And then he has the Las Vegas like homicide or cop guy next to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take you down if I need to." So I don't know. It just looks like he just oversteps bounds no matter what. The homicide part came in, of course, like because the one dude killed right off the bat, but also the one dude who shot that armored truck driver, in the beginning, is actually a serial killer.
Yep.
You know, his name's Buffalo Bill, and he tucks.
Wayne Grow, such a weird name too. Like, I've never heard the name Wayne Grow ever, and ever since watching this movie, randomly the name, I'll just say it in my head, like Wayne Grow. Like, what a weird name. And then I'll go about my business. But
I think is a serial killer. I mean, he kills another girl.
Because they're like, no, it fits the killings of these last girls or something. So
I don't know why Al's actually involved in stopping the bank robbery part of this, besides that they know that they were involved in homicide. But I think I don't know if how that all works.
If you're a LA cop or a cop, let us know if that's even a possibility.
We've had a tangent-filled episode here.
We kind of got sidetracked there, like always. Back to the movie. I mean, we're not going to discuss the ending because maybe you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, you need to see one of the best heist movies and movies of all time. So we're not going to ruin it. Maybe you've seen it. You know how it ends. Or maybe you can guess how it ends. You know, whatever. It's just a great piece of cinematic history that I'm glad to be and have been able to witness. Is all I'm gonna say. Anyways, let's rate this movie, shall we?
Yeah, do you got a rating?
I don't. Do you?
Yeah. So
okay.
In the bank robbery scene, we're getting done with the bank robbery. How many bags are you carrying out to the car? Like,
oh man. Okay. Yeah. All right. You go first.
All right. I think I'm gonna muscle it up on this one. You know, we got it all taken care of. Everybody's fine in the bank. You know, a couple people got some knocks to the face, whatever. Yeah. But I'm loading up 2 on each shoulder. That way I can still have my gun right here. So I got 4 on me. So
4 bags. Okay.
I got 4 bags, and I'm just going, and I'm running out there with my gun like this, and then I'm just gonna slide right into the car.
All right. Wow. I don't know how this is gonna be possible, but I'm grabbing 9 bags. I'm just like, I'm going to be like me at the airport. Like, I've got stuff everywhere. I'm holding bags like this. I'm firing with my gun with my mouth. Like, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's one of my favorite movies. That's heat.
That was it for this episode. We're going to turn down the temp again to a reasonable heat. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. All right. So thanks for watching our credits. Here is the lie. It is actually the scene, the diner scene was not filmed using CGI and special, camera angles and all that. It feels like there was a ton of rumors that they were actually never side by side, but they were. And it was an amazing scene. So that was the lie.